And we will begin with the Committee on Collective Bargaining. I would like to ask Trustee Simon to please convene the Committee on Collective Bargaining.
Good morning, and thank you, Chair Day. Will the Committee on Collective Bargaining please come to order? It is now time for the committee to consider today's consent agenda. Does any committee member wish to remove any of the items from the consent agenda? Well, hearing none, is there an objection to the approval of the consent agenda? Hearing none, the consent agenda is now approved. Chair Day, this concludes the business of the Committee on Collective Bargaining. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trustee Simon.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I saw these are action items, not as consent items.
Lieutenant Governor, would you like to pull one of the items for discussion?
You know, under the circumstances, items 2 and 3, I haven't heard from the public directly, and I usually do. So I would just like to abstain from items 2 and 3. I think that means you have to remove them so we can vote. Yeah. And my apologies. But again, I usually get more direct contact and I haven't received any. And it concerns me that it might be simply because of these circumstances and the difficulty in people being able to reach each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Lieutenant Governor. So I would ask our council, should we remove and have presentation or how should we proceed?
Trustee Simon, you could simply remove items 2 and 3 and then take a separate roll call vote on those items together, since the Lieutenant Governor has indicated she wishes to abstain from those.
Thank you so much. Why don't we do that first? We will take a roll call vote on items 2 and I believe 3. Should we do that separately, Council?
You can do those together.
Okay, that's what we'll do. So committee, I'm asking you all to do a roll call vote on items 2 and 3. And my committee list, I want to make sure that for those of you who are on the committee.
The trustee secretary, Trustee Simon, she will call the roll call vote for you.
Fantastic. Michelle?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So this is for the Committee on Collective Bargaining, and this is for approval of consent items number 2, adoption of initial proposals for a successor collective bargaining agreement with Bargaining Unit 4, Academic Professionals of California, and the adoption of initial proposals for a successor collective bargaining agreement with Bargaining Unit 10, the International Union of Operating Engineers, Stationary Engineers, Local 39.
Michelle, this is Adam.
Yes, Adam?
Just to note, Lieutenant Governor, you're not a member of this committee.
Oh, this is a committee vote, not a full vote.
Correct.
My apologies, everyone.
And I need to apologize as well. I should have moved that, but thank you so much, Chair.
So just to clarify, the committee members for the Committee on Collective Bargaining for the consent vote at this time are Lateefah Simon, Doug Fagan, Deb Farrar, Lillian Campbell, Jack McGrory, Chris Steinhauser, Peter Taylor.
Thank you. And I do want to highlight, Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much for the concern on items 2 and 3. And should we have an opportunity for the full board to discuss this item, both items, we will do that. So is there, of the existing committee members, are there any questions on the consent agenda? And if not, we will move for approval.
Move it.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Chair Day, that concludes with that approval. I guess all in favor?
Aye.
As long as you note no objections,
Okay,
the matter is approved.
Thank you. If there are no objections, then let's move it. Chair Day, that concludes the business of the Committee on Collective Bargaining. Thank you so much. Thanks all.
Thank you, Chair Simon. So